I like using just a little bit of tow. It's on the bird nest. There we go. There we are. These small sticks. Hi guys, Gonzo here from Eastern Woodland Longhunters of Indiana, of course Gonzo Outdoors. It is March in north central Indiana. I'm on a short little scout today. We had extremely warm weather and then we got a bunch of rain and now the temperature's dropped and it's pretty cold out. So I've got a small little scout fire right here. It's keeping the edge off. I've got my bucket with some coffee going, already have my mug. And I thought I would spend some time. I know I promised you I would do a comprehensive fire starting video. Logistics, work schedule, things haven't allowed me to do that yet, but I wanted to put a video up. After I put up the last little short teaser, I got a bunch of private messages on Facebook and people emailing me asking me some questions, so I thought I'd do a quick little Q&A if that's all right with you, and we'll put this video up until I can get the instructionals going. So one of the things they asked me, and I wrote some notes down, so I've got that here, they asked me my bio. So I'm not originally from north central Indiana. I'm not from Indiana at all, but I am 53 years old. My wife and I, we have 4 kids, 5 grandkids, wonderful grandchildren. I work at Indiana Veterans Home in West Lafayette. We serve all of our veterans and patriots from past and present wars and their spouses as well. So I work there. Plus, I was a combat medic in the Army. I served in the United States Army, and I was a combat medic and flight medic. And I'm also an EMT in civilian life, and I'm a pastor as well. So that's kind of my bio for what it's worth. Somebody asked me, is this my passion, or why I'm so passionate about challenging people and getting people to get outside and try something? And that's kind of a hard one to answer. And the reason is this. One, for a lot of years, I traveled and taught Native American horsemanship. I'm sorry if the camera's wobbling a little bit. There is a little bit of a wind going. I taught a Native American form of natural horsemanship. Our motto was less is more. No whips, no bits, no spurs, and no round penning. We did everything bareback and bridleless. And then I also had a martial arts school for a long time. We taught old school Kempo Jiu-Jitsu. We taught Judo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Filipino Kali. But because of health concerns, and I'll discuss that in some future video, I kind of had to give up those things. And this is a passion of mine that I really love, and I just want to share it with everyone that I meet. And I want people to try it, and I want people to get off the couch and get out from in front of the computer, get out in the woods, man, and just experience this life, this 18th century and 19th century, you know, whether you're a reenactment, you're a reenactor, or you're living history, first person or third person, or you're doing historical trekking, whatever it is, man, experience it. That's what I'm really passionate about, and sharing information. So the big question people ask me is, what is my rifle? What is my musket that I'm shooting? Everyone always asks me that. Well, it is a reproduction. It was made around the bicentennial. It comes from Belgium. It is kind of known as a Frankenstein flintlock, or a Frankenflint. It is put together in Belgium by this company. I believe the proof house is Liege, however that's pronounced. And sometimes known as an African trade rifle. It has a 50-inch barrel. It measures out at, let's see, what's the diameter? 0.664 diameter. I have never shot round ball in it, though. I fired shot in it, and of course, tons of blanks. Now, here's the thing. I got this thing for a song. They are kind of known throughout the firearms community, sometimes called the Belgian bomb. They're just not well made, and you have to be extremely careful. They're usually better off as a wall hanger. I happen to be very, very fortunate. I got this one for literally almost zero. I took it to someone who knows a lot about flintlocks. Everything was sound on it, and so I fired blanks for a long, long time, just having fun scouting, you know, in my own woods in my backyard, sort of de-stress after work. And then I started firing shot in it, and it works flawlessly. If I have a complaint, my only complaint is that the trigger pull drags and it's extremely heavy. So I plan on working on that. I really love this musket, but I am in the market for either a new musket or a long rifle, and that to be sometime in the future. So anyway, that's my flintlock, my musket that I shoot. She is one tall, skinny girl, and man, I love that thing. The next question people always ask, what knife do I use? I have a custom-made knife. You may have seen on Gonzo Outdoors, you may have seen another video where I talked about the specs. This is a sort of a longhunter French trade model made exclusively for me by Deer Creek Wilderness Outfitters. Clinton Armstrong is my knife smith. It's 1095 high carbon steel, 90-degree spine, nice little part choil here for the finger grip. You know, here, let me put it that way so you can see. So there's no hot spot. There's just enough relief there. Has the nice curl button on the end, brass pins, almost perfectly balanced. You can see the thickness, flat grind. It's got a nice little patina on it. If you look at my old videos, you actually see about a 2-minute video where I was trying this out in my kitchen, and we were chopping some garlic and some onions and putting it against a speed test against one of my chef knives on my counter and stuff, and did extremely well. So this is, Clinton doesn't make these too often. I know that there's another one he just made that had Osage orange handles for one of the guys that's in our group, Eastern Woodland Longhunters of Indiana, Andy Wright, and he made one with Osage handles, and that thing is beautiful. So anyway, so this is my knife. He made me a nice flat little sheath that I carry in the belt, and around my neck in here is a little Jeff White small little English trade knife. This thing was going to be a patch knife, and this is sort of my camp chore knife, I guess. I was using the French trade knife, my long hunter knife, and I kind of got jealous because I was beating it up, but it withstood all the tests I put it through, but I'm really saving it for something bigger and better. So this is my sort of my camp all-around chore knife that I use. Somebody asked me what I want to do with the video and the channels. Well, there are very, very few 18th century reenactors, instructors, whatever you want to call us or call them, who are putting out information. There's Steve Davis, there's Brian from Snowwalker 13 or Shadows in the Forest. Of course, Keith Burgess is out there. And occasionally Dave Canterbury will do something that's 18th century. But really, there's only 4, 5, maybe 6 people who do. Now, when you consider that against all the people who do bushcraft and survival and prepping and all that kind of other stuff, people who are doing this kind of reenactment or sharing this kind of knowledge and passion are very, very few. Oh, Nick Post. There's a young man named Nick Post. This young man was trapping and tanning furs and doing the 18th century thing when he was a young man. And I believe he's probably a teen, an older teen now. The young man does great videos. I give a shout out to Nick. So that is one of the, I wanted to do another channel with more instructions. Now, it originally started out between friends, between buddies. But then I realized that there's nothing that really challenges. So I wanted to use this video media to challenge other people. Now, I belong to probably 6, 7 mountainman, long hunters, 18th century reenact, all those kind of things, Facebook groups. It's closed Facebook groups. And so frontiersmen, 21st century frontiersmen, there's a whole bunch of them. And so I like to challenge people. I want people to get outside. So every month we did a fire challenge, I think, in December. If I remember right, January was an everyday EDC challenge. What is it we carry? What's the things in our haversacks and on our belt, our fire kit, our knife, our food? What do we take on the trail? Our wool blankets, you know, those kind of things. March became shelter. I'm sorry, that was February, was our shelter. Show us what you want to do with your shelter. And do you do a lean-to or some kind of whaling tent, or do you do a ranger tent? What is it that you use for shelter when you're out doing a scout? If you use one at all, maybe you just do a ground cloth and a wool blanket. So I really wanted to do it to challenge people to get outside, so that way we had something in common and I can kind of push people. So that's kind of it. Now, when people start out in this, what you're going to find is that it can be expensive. Now, when I first started, my buddy Mike was in the Air Force. I was in the Army. We're both medics. Sometimes you see posts, the two medics are back out again, and that's Mike Milligan and I. When we first started, we started doing sort of bug out stuff. Not really prepper, survivalists. I say bug out, but it was more maybe like light camping. So we had like a little 20-liter, 25-liter little backpack. And a small fire kit, and that was all we took out. We took a blue plastic tarp, still in the package, you know, for size, and we carried this thing, and we would pull up somewhere in our vehicle, grab our bag, get out, head to the woods, and we'd set up. And if we didn't have it in the bag, we either had to make it or do without, and we had really fun with that. And then one day, Mike's not from here, and I took him to Feast of the Hunter's Moon here in West Lafayette, Indiana, and it's a big reenactment, 18th century 1700s reenactment. It's a big feast, big festival, man. It's a great time if you've never been. And we were walking around. He really kind of fell in love with that. And I was like, you know, Mike, we should do this. And we kicked the idea around for about a year, still doing our bug out. And then the next year, we went back again, and that's when we decided this was going to be our passion. This is what we wanted to do. And we've been doing that ever since. But when we first started, we thought that this would be easier. It would be lighter. It would be easier. And we found out it's actually not that easy. When you're a bushcrafter, you know, woodsman, bug out, prepper, survivalist, you know, whatever it is that you are, you claim you are, you can go to any store, Walmart, the supermarket, Speedway gas station, and you can find something that'll work for your purpose, whatever it is, whether it's food or lighters or whatever. You can't do that if you're going to try to be period correct and really enjoy this passion for what it is. And so we found that the vendors, the people who supply this stuff, are actually small in number. And if you're going to try to pay attention to something that's period correct or period-ish, that it's a little difficult to do. And you really have to be very, very focused and specific about what you're doing. And it really kind of became a challenge. So we put the other stuff away, and this became our passion, and this is what we've been working on for a long time. We haven't gotten to where we want to be yet, but we're always learning, we're always working, building, sewing our own clothes, you know, building whatever it is we can make, crafting other things, and that's what we try to do. When you get out, when you're going to start this, don't worry. Look, you might just have your shirt and a powder horn in a bag and your, you know, some rifle or musket. Go out, enjoy it. Yes, just like any other hobby or fad or passion, there are elitists, and the elitists will be snobby. You know what? You don't answer to them. And they seem to forget that everyone starts at the same place. And we're all on this journey just trying to figure out what it is that we want from this. Is it a little bit of escapism? Is it de-stressing after a long day or a long week at our civilian jobs? Maybe it's just quiet time. Maybe it's family time. So whatever it is, get out, man. Experience it. Don't worry about any of those who are elitist. Last I checked, I don't answer to them, and neither do you. So let me encourage you. Try it. Get out. Do a short trek, a hike, a camp. Maybe you start with the flint and steel kit and learn how to make fire with flint and steel. Learn how to make char cloth or getting a piece of punk wood and charring it, or tinder fungus, or, you know, push yourself, challenge yourself all the time, It is a bunch of fun. And it's one of the few passions, few hobbies, few activities that for the most part is really family friendly. You will find that at most of the camps and the events and the festivals and the shoots and those things, that we sort of have a sort of a common set of values, and family is important. So you're not going to see a bunch of drunk people. You're not going to see a bunch of loud people. Everything is good, clean fun with the same goal in mind, and you're not going to be embarrassed to take your children or your spouse or whatever it may be to any of the events. So let me encourage you to try to get out and try it, regardless of what it is. Get out and try, man. Ask questions. One of the things about the whole, if I can use the term, muzzleloading brotherhood, all those that are into reenactments and historical trekking and stuff, we love to share knowledge, and we're not elitist. We'll spend more time sharing knowledge than we will debating about whether we need a $300 bushcraft knife in order to, really be an expert at it or proficient at anything we do. In fact, the opposite is true. So we love to share knowledge. We love people who ask questions. That's how I got started. I asked questions, and people shared their knowledge with me, and I'm just going to try to pay that forward and share anything that I know with them. Okay, sorry about the switch. Battery was going dead, and so I had to kind of do things, a couple quick battery change and take care of a couple things. So some people ask me why when I sign off, I always say, thanks for hanging out with me, and I pull my earlobe, and I always say something positive, usually God-centered. First and foremost, I am a Christian. I already said that I'm a pastor as well, but I am a Christian, a man of faith. And as well as the 4 founding members of this group, Clinton Armstrong, Todd Helkamp, Mike Milligan, and myself, we created this group as a fellowship, a place where we could bring our family and our kids and not have to worry about anything that's derogatory or embarrassing that might make us regret having our spouses and our children with us. We are open to anyone. You don't have to be a Christian to come and hang out with us, but we do pray over our meals, and we do have a common set of core values that we just want to share in fellowship with. And so it's a rather safe place that you can come and relax and just enjoy the 18th century reenactment. Enjoy the lifestyle, man. And if it's just camping for you, that's cool. Come out and just hang with us. You'll find it very, very open and friendly. The other thing is, when I pull my earlobe, that is, the 3 pulls mean I love you. It's sort of a Carol Burnett thing. It means I love you, and it goes out to my grandchildren, Janessa Faith, and then there's Christian and Cameron, Sophia Grace, and then Kason. So that's sort of, and I love you to the 5 of them. Most of them have never seen the videos, and sometime when they get older, they'll be able to go back and watch the videos and know that that's a shout out to them. So that's sort of a quick Q&A. The Eastern Woodland Longhunters of Indiana are a young group. It's a Facebook group. Please come and join in. If you see me posting on some other group that you might be part of, and you see me posting a picture or a challenge, man, post your pics. What disappoints me most is when I see a lot of these great groups, but they turn into a classified sale group. There's more things being sold on there than there's information being shared, or people showing, hey, I went out this weekend with the family and we made fires and we built a shelter, whatever it is. We went to an event, a feast, an activity, maybe the National Muzzleloading Championships down in Friendship, Indiana, whatever it is. But we want to see people active, man, enjoying this lifestyle, getting out from in front of the TV, off the couch, outdoors, and just enjoying some good time with family and good friends and fellowship. So that's kind of it. I hope this Q&A was, I know it's short, sweet, kind of scattered, but these were the sort of the questions that people asked. I hope that kind of gives you an idea of who I am and what we are. We're still going to do the fire starting video. We're still going to do challenges. We're still going to post pics. And hopefully as a group, the Eastern Woodland Longhunters of Indiana will be able to compete down in Friendship, Indiana, in the shoot down there. But anytime you ever see one of us, you hear of us at one of the events, or you see us, man, look us up, say hi, send us an email, send us a private message, man, whatever it is, come over and talk to us. let's just have some good fellowship, because that's what we're about. We want to share knowledge. We have a lot to learn, so there's a lot that we're going to ask you, and together we'll. So that's basically about it. Thanks for hanging out with me, gang. And I hope if you like what's happening, please subscribe. Let's build this channel up. We shall see you next time. Remember, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let's be glad and rejoice in it.